being recorded.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy. Fabulous past, fabulous guest. I can't even do this. I'm so excited. A fabulous panel and a fabulous guest as I put those words together because I'm so excited. We've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
So glad you're here tonight. Mary Kircher Roddy's in the house. Hey, Mary.
Hello.
MKR Genealogy. We've got Dan Earl, our family history guy, making faces at us.
Hello. That's what I'm good at. Stick with what you're good at.
We've got Bernice Bennett from Genealogy. Hi, Bernice.
Hello, everybody.
And last but down, she's way down low on my screen. It's Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Cheri. It's good to be here.
So good to be here. Now, guys, wearing the wrong color.
That's true.
In the web for the wrong color.
Yes, from relative race. Team Greens, Scott. And we're hoping that,
Hey, everyone.
we're hoping that Hannah is going to jump in a minute, but she's kind of at work and she's a little busy. And so she'll try if she can. But we are so happy that you're here. And we are so thrilled. We're thrilled you made it to day 9 so we could see all those relatives we hated. Teams get off before then because we want to see it. So amazing journey. And we're so grateful that you shared it with us. So I know that it was something that'll, especially for you and Hannah, those are moments just you're going to treasure for a lifetime doing that journey together. I think that made it so special.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the whole big thing behind this was the impetus being able to spend 2 weeks in the car with Hannah. She had just this past year moved out into her own apartment and is launching in her career. And it was just, I kind of miss my baby girl. So it was like, hey, now I get a chance to spend 2 weeks running around the country with her. And we just had an absolute blast.
You could tell, y'all were so much fun. And just that whole, every time you got to somebody's house, her energy level and her cheering you on, we can do this, think positive, and we're there, so cute. I loved it every time. Before we kind of ask you about how the show, what it all meant to you, we thought we'd better real quick just go over day 9 so we can do a little recap on day 9.
Driving, relatives, a challenge.
The challenge, I want to talk to you about that challenge. That challenge was not fair to you and Hannah. It was too tall. You guys, I said, they can't even get the box up there. How are they gonna, that big Rubik's Cube thing? Did you guys feel like it was a disadvantage?
So it does stack up high. They did have ladders available. The boxes were not as heavy as you would think.
Okay.
They're actually hollow. So it wasn't that they were heavy, just for Hannah, the wingspan of the box was kind of wide. But we were able to make do.
You did great.
Well, when we saw the boxes and they told us the rules, I was like, okay, so we have to orient the boxes first on the ground, then stack them, because that way you get them in the correct order going straight in. Otherwise, you're trying to finagle them up in the air, and that's no bueno.
And I thought, well, that was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant strategy. That was brilliant strategy. Brilliant strategy. You had to leave your brother to go on day 9. Oh my gosh, you met another brother.
Another brother.
That was incredible. That was incredible for that to happen. I mean, I know you were hoping to meet your biological mom, of course.
Yes.
Did you have any idea of whom else you might meet, or
no clue?
No clue whatsoever.
No
and
clue.
just hoping that you would be able to meet her at some point too. Yeah. So everybody that you meet is just like
bonus.
Exactly. An absolute bonus, bonus. That's just, it's just amazing. And just a real quick, so we can go over what the other teams were going through on day 9. We had, we've been feeling these teams that don't know each other. We've been kind of having a hard time with them because we want them to meet the equal amount of relatives. And I know that's probably why they were put together, because there weren't an equal number of relatives, but Sean was leaving his father. I'm so glad he got to meet his father, and he gave him that jersey, which I thought was really cool. The Dolphins jersey. Let's see, trying to remember what everybody was getting stuff from their
Can I
relatives.
just break in? I
Yes,
thought it
of
was
course.
so adorable when Sean said something about, he said, "Are you a Dolphins fan?" And he said something like, "Now I am."
Now I am. Now I am. Absolutely. And then, of course, Jamie from the red team had to leave his brother, and that was tearful. That was a very just it was very hard for him to leave him. And so but the race had to move on. We had of course Black team's Jamie had to leave his father, so that was another hard one. Did I get to who did I miss?
That was all of them.
Did I get them all?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. I want to make sure I didn't
I
miss
can count to
anybody.
4.
I can't afford. I can't. Anyway, so, on the road, and I think we saw on day 9. I don't know how you felt about this, Scott, but I think we saw on day 9 a little bit of irritation showing in people. I think day 9. Well, nobody wanted to get that third strike, and so
No one wanted to get the third strike. And I mean, it was for us personally, Hannah and I, we knew that we were going to meet our day 9 relative. So really, once we kind of got to day 7 done, and we knew we were doing day 8, just in case, they tell us that we have the golden ticket. So we knew that if anything were to happen, we're going to get to day 9. And so we figure hopefully if we're going to get a chance to meet Ladybug, then she would probably be day 9. So for us, we were just kind of like, woo! The pressure was off. We were still trying to get the times down and do everything very quick.
Hey.
We said we were going to welcome you just like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. She probably doesn't even know what that is.
She's connected to audio.
Yeah.
She can't even hear us.
Oh, am I connected?
Yes.
Now you are.
Oh, y'all are.
Okay,
Hi.
girl.
1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Hannah!
I can't stay for too long, but I
It's
snuck away
okay.
from work.
Okay, your dad was just telling us that everybody was so worried about day 9 with that third strike looming, but you guys had it all figured out that you knew at least you were going to meet all your relatives. So because you could see the tension, and I don't know how much that you guys know beforehand what's going on with the other teams. I know from other seasons they've told us we don't get to see it until it's aired on television, and so there's a lot of things that happen that we don't even know happened to them. And so, but everybody was a little cranky.
Yeah, we don't know until like Dan starts talking, and like me and Dad will be sitting there and we're like, we had a great day. And then Dan gets on and he's like, Black team, you guys did fantastic. Blue team, you guys, and we're like, oh man, dang it.
Maybe we didn't do as good as we thought.
The amount of times Dan goes, you guys did fantastic. All of you had great days. Me and Dad would just look at each other and go, you kidding me? But no, we loved all of them. So to hear that they had just as good of a day it was nice.
Yeah, you guys ran a great race and took great pictures.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Your photos, you won. I think you guys won more than anybody else. I mean,
I
you
think
had some
so, yeah.
fabulous photos. Yeah, you
Thank
did
you.
really good. And I liked your sunflower.
Thank you. It was kind of tough because I had Dad and Sam there, and I don't know how well they portrayed it, but I mean, Dad and Sam are the exact same person. So I had 2 dads with me the entire time I was taking those pictures. It was so stressful, but it was fun. It was good.
That's cute. Well, did you guys like the photo part of the competition? Because that's the first time they've ever done that. How did you guys feel about that?
I loved it.
Well, of course, only because you're so super talented, my dear.
I just thought it brought something new, 10 years, 10 seasons, so it brought something a little new.
Well, and what I really liked about it is the physical challenges. They help show off the physicality and people's physical capabilities.
Right.
The photography showed more of a creative aesthetic. And now you have to be not just super physical, you also must be creative as well. And that
Exactly.
balance kind of,
Yeah.
I like that balance there.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. And as the fans, we were voting, we had no idea why we were voting, who we were voting for. Oh, there she went. She meant it. She was only gonna be able to stay for a minute. But you know, those hospitals, they knock you off anyway. It's not good internet. But yeah, so
well, you mean they knock you off the Wi-Fi? Not that the hospitals like knock you off, right? Can we clarify that?
What kind of
Depends on
hospital
who's
do they
running
have
the
in South
hospital.
Carolina?
I mean,
Yeah.
depends on who's running the hospital.
Yeah,
That's
your
funny.
hospitals are a lot different in South Carolina than up here.
I mean, we all remember what happened
And
during the
then you get
pandemic.
knocked off the internet. You
Why
get knocked
Laura
off
left.
the internet.
Better know.
Nope, there she is.
I'm here.
she's here.
No, that's why you left South Carolina.
Oh, that's
Oh,
why.
because of the
They're
hospital.
murderous
Okay, well,
hospital staff. Not
Yeah,
we
when they
digress.
started that
I can
marketing
see you down there,
slogan of-
Marsha Brady. You're down at the bottom box.
We digress. We have
Mrs. Brady.
This is
have our-
Mrs.
we
Brady
have
on
our-
the bottom one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry.
You're Alice.
I'm
Yeah, you're
Alice.
Alice. Yeah.
Oh, I might have moved. I'm in the corner though.
Yeah, I always lose control with these people. So
I'm just thinking the marketing strategy for a hospital, we knock you off. Right?
is it very good?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not mean that for any hospital out there. I meant your internet knocks us off the internet.
Okay,
That's-
let's get back to the subject.
Let's get back to
Cheri.
the subject.
Well, we
at
were talking
hand.
about
Hey,
the
let's go ride our
photograph.
bikes.
whole challenge.
Okay.
We're talking about the
Yeah.
challenge, yeah.
When they tell you about the challenge, how many minutes do you have to decide this is what I want to do, or this is what we think we want to do?
It's not much. I mean, it's pretty much, well, it goes kind of like what you see. I mean, we tear up the little thing, we run to the challenge, and it's like, oh snap, we have to do what? So it's pretty quick. So I mean, you've got to be able to very quickly be able to kind of come up with your plan and how are we going to address this and what are the things that we're going to have to do. And if it's lobbing balloons at each other or trying to get your face up into something to smell it or feel it. I mean, Hannah was doing a great job with being able to take not only the texture against her cheek, but she was biting stuff to be able to get the texture as well as the smell.
What do you think was your favorite challenge? Or did you just like hate them all?
My favorite one was really the cubes there at the end, more of the puzzle stuff. That's more around my my favorite. The hamster ball, while it was really fun the first run, over and over and over again, short fat guy and Zorb ball does not go well.
Well, we joke around and we think that Relative Race should put together a family reunion book of games, and so we're always saying, let's take that one from this season and that we can make, we could fix this one and work it into a family reunion. So I think the cube ball that y'all did, the cube stacking, could fit work in a family reunion. Yeah, I think that would work. So we're trying to get them to listen to us, and they don't ever listen to us, but we're trying to get them to listen to us and put that book together. But yeah, so far no book. I'm sorry. Let's talk for a few minutes about who the teams met. This was a very important episode because it was the last time that people were going to meet their relatives. And so for some, it was like, it's about time. We'll talk to you with your about time at the last, but when Curtis pulled up, and his father was standing there, it was like, oh yeah, we don't have to ask. We know, we know who he is. He looks so much like his dad, so much like his dad. And the Twitterverse, because I live tweet, everybody's going, finally. What took him so long to get, Curtis to his dad? But that was sweet. That was a sweet reunion. So I loved watching that.
On Twitter, I wonder who he's waiting for. This was the father. Father, you're like,
Exactly. Yeah, they did put that. They put, I wonder who he's waiting for. Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I suddenly got some in my throat. Let's see and then of course Jamie has a whole family reunion after, I'm talking about Red Team Jamie.
Yes.
Yeah, he meets a cousin. His story has been so special because he's meeting people that he remembers. except for the younger kids, like Anthony that he had just met, he knew of. But I think his story's been so special because those were connections from his childhood. And this cousin, he remembers her, the older cousin, taking care of him and all that. And I think that was so special. And then when she brought him in and all the rest of the family were there and they were taking pictures, and then his wife and daughter come in, that was really special. They grab Alex and throw him in for the family pictures. He didn't feel left out. And, so I thought that was really, really special. So I'm really hoping that they will be able to continue building those bonds back that got severed when he was so young, that all of them will be able to continue with that journey together. Somebody was going to say something.
So from a storytelling, kind of individual storytelling, we've seen everybody's story and they always kind of culminate at the end. Sean's culminated on day 8, meeting his father. Yeah. But I kind of felt like Alex was just out there hanging.
Yeah, we kind of anticlimactic.
We wanted
because and Alex was with Jamie, and Alex was with Jamie, and Alex, and I think he's now probably part of Jamie's family. But I somehow wish they had found a way to kind of resolve something, or to
bring his family, let him have a reunion too.
Or give us 20 seconds at the end with just a picture of Alex with someone, that he met after the show.
Scott's got maybe an answer for you.
I can tell you that in real time, the relatives kind of shift, and the producers behind the scenes are trying to make sure everything can line up, because you've got people who wind up getting sick. You have people who wind up having an emergency work situation. You have situations where you got all of a sudden now where it's like, because I am so grateful that I got to meet Uncle Joe and Chris on day 1. They weren't originally scheduled to be part of this. That was a last minute shift because of scheduling and stuff. And then Uncle Joe was able to step up and he said, hey, I'll do this for Ladybug. And so you've got those sort of things are going on behind the scenes that none of us know until the 11th hour.
Right. So he probably knew that he was kind of done meeting his relatives, maybe. Do you think? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot on our show about the fact that there's a lot we don't know, because we don't know how much time is between this and between this other thing, and how did this come about, and how did they decide what order to put relatives in. So we know that there's a lot that we don't get to see during the show. So that's why it's always great to have the teams come on afterwards, because we can get the scoop.
I can tell you the amount of logistics that goes in behind the scenes to make all of that happen is insane. Each of the team's producers, the work that they do while we're actually doing the race, it's and God forbid you make a wrong turn and you decide to go through Lexington and Louisville, Kentucky to get to St. Louis, because you're expecting traffic in Nashville, and you screw up all of the hotel reservations for the entire team. I mean, that never happens.
Oh boy. Well, it's live when it's happening. I mean, we're not seeing it live, but you're recording it live, and so things are going to happen. Traffic's going to happen. Things like hotel rooms messing up, they're going to happen. People getting sick, or I'm wondering if sometimes people have agreed, but when it gets to that point, they're like, I never mind. I don't think I can do this on camera. With people who
that was the whole that was like day 0. Me and Tanner were like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Exactly. And you've got to do it in a way that is positive for both. And not force anything, because Jamie made it very clear, a red team Jamie, very clear that he didn't think he could meet his mother and have that positive experience if he hadn't met the others along the way. So first, he said that the timing of meeting her was better than if they had brought her like the first episode, the first relative. Just that he didn't think that he could have adjusted as well or have understood as well.
if they had brought her on like the first
Yeah.
relative. But I'm interested in knowing, Scott, what how did you get connected with relative race? We've asked contestants over the years about how did you contact them? Did they contact you? And it's been kind of both.
Well, I've worked from the house here for the majority of my career in one way, shape, form, or fashion. So it was a couple of years back. I was up here on a call, just kind of like we are right now. And my wife comes busting in, goes, "Oh my gosh, there's this thing on Facebook. And would you like to try and find your relatives and race across the country? Let me fill it out." God bless, babe. We were contacted about being on it a while back. And then just again, going back to timing, it didn't work out for everyone involved when we first started talking. COVID hit, and then the next thing you know, it's like 2 years has gone by, and we're coming right up at the very end of the mutual NDA. And I was like, well, you know what? I kind of like to look all this stuff up, and maybe they have all of the stuff that they found on me, and I can just go from there. And I called them up, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, if you're ready to go, let's talk." And next thing I know, Shazam, me and Hannah are getting green.
So fun, so fun. And I'm glad that happened, because you guys were such an amazingly wonderful part of this season. It wouldn't have been the same, you know. And we always get started. We talk about this a lot. You know, we get started on day one. We kind of read the little bios about everybody. But by now, and then by day 10, you're all family. We feel like we know you, you know, we just feel like we know you. And
because we've been riding around with you throughout every mile.
We've been riding around. Exactly. Absolutely. Let's real quick talk about Team Black. You know, it was really sad as they left. Well, as they left Billy Jack's house to leave that morning, you know, he's got all those wonderful motorcycles, and he's showing Jamie and Jansen that motorcycle, and then he walks over and he gifts it to them, which was so heartwarming and so special. And they were just in shock, and just, you know, that was a beautiful scene. And I know they had a hard time leaving because he'd been so ill, and so that must have been a really hard time, you know, leaving him. And they get to a niece's house, a niece and first cousin, and she says, "Hey, I'm gonna take you someplace else." And there we go to another family reunion. And so he didn't really leave him, because he's right there. Dad was right there, and all those foshies,
and another brother.
And another brother. Yeah. So they were able to meet them. So I loved that. I thought that was just beautiful that they had them all there, especially with him being so sick. And of course we did find out at the end that he had passed away.
That's so sad.
It was very, very sad, but so grateful that they were able to meet. And Jamie was saying God had a plan, you know, he made sure that this happened just at the right time. So that we could meet each other. You know, we wished we'd had more time, but at least we had the time that we had. And so I thought that was beautiful. And our hearts go out to all of them, and, you know, and prayers for peace and the recovery. And I know that, you know, just memories can start bringing that peace, that, you know, that comfort.
Well, he certainly has a lot of family members, new family members, but they can help him to know his father, you know, when he's not there. And so he's got a lot of family members to get closer to and to get to know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can't help but think that before that motorcycle was given, that his father kind of cleared it with the rest of the family. And it was kind of like saying, "I want you guys to continue this connect, you know, this is, it's almost like the prodigal son."
Yeah, kind of.
I think this is one of the first times that I can remember where all of the family members are so close and yet talk so well of each other.
Yes.
You know, I mean, maybe we haven't had that option to have so many family members, you know, be so close together, but they all talked about, especially about Billy Jack, and what a wonderful person he was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point, Melissa.
Yeah, I agree. And still, and I've told you since day one, I just love that Jamie always said, and this is my boy.
My boy.
This is my boy. Every time
My
he
boy dancing.
introduced him,
Yeah.
you could see that love. And the same thing with Scott and Hannah. You could just see the pride in Scott as he would introduce Hannah to his relatives. So, and speaking of relatives, oh my goodness, what a day you had on day 9. Amazing. I can't even, I'm sure that you were hoping that that's who that would be, on day 9.
It was that, I mean, the whole reason why I even went on this crazy journey was just to meet my biological mother. That was my goal from the outset and from the very beginning. And I was so grateful that we were able to achieve that. We got a chance to meet Ladybug and talk to her and meet her husband, Dave. And it was just such a fun time. And one of the things I was even saying was, even though we didn't get a chance to go to day 10, day 9, that night was a tremendous just feast and a party that Ladybug and Dave put on. Sue was there with her son Joe. Sam was there, and we just had a tremendous time with the crew, and just it was amazing. And because we didn't get to go to day 10, we got our phones back, so I got a chance to actually FaceTime my wife Marina and my son Junior and introduce them to the family that we had just met. And had we gone to day 10, couldn't have done that.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. That whole conversation that you had with her about how you appreciated what she did, because there was other choices she could have made, and thanked her, was just, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And watching Hannah watch you, beautiful. Just watching her face as she watched you, watching her face as you met any of the relatives was really beautiful, but especially as you met your biological mother. It was absolutely beautiful. Now I know that
Ladybug is just amazing. And I mean, it's just, again, it's the connection that we had, and just the mannerisms that I share with Sam. I know where he got them from. It was we laughed because it was like we figured they were going to have to cut about 99.9% of every time we got together, because we just had way too much fun, and we're too much of a bunch of goofballs.
Was it a surprise to you that you got along so well with who you met? I mean, you're meeting family, but you're really meeting perfect strangers.
It was very surprising, because you're right. I mean, for the most part, you're walking in, it's like, hey, strangers in the sense that we've never met before, family in the sense that we are tied by the bonds of our DNA. But it just, everywhere we went, it just felt welcoming, and it felt right. Yeah,
you could feel it coming through the camera.
You could.
It didn't look awkward, and there have been times, of course there are going to be awkward times, but it seemed to me everybody you met was just was this welcoming, just love at first sight kind of welcoming in, and family. So it was really beautiful. Mary?
Well, I also wanted to say just how lovely it was, the phone call that you got from your mom and dad, and how that eased Hannah's mind about going on this journey. But just how you could just feel the love with them as well.
I've got the greatest parents in the world, and I got a chance to share that with everybody. And mom and pops are they're fantastic. I mean, I say I learned unconditional love from the two of them because of the way they raised me and how they've always loved me. And, for me to be able to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior was such a simple thing, because my Heavenly Father unconditionally loves me, because I understand that because my earthly father unconditionally loved me. So it was just like, yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Yeah. Mom and pops adopted me. Sure. God adopts me. Great. I understand that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just love it in particular, just because it makes the story so much fuller. when we get to see the adoptive parents that are supporting the people that are out to find their biological roots. It just gives so much more texture to the story.
I agree.
We love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has the rest of your family got to meet? I mean, have your wife and son? I mean, have you?
So actually, so Stephen and his wife Tanya came and celebrated their anniversary in the Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area, which is very near our house. And so we spent a weekend just hanging out. They ran a little place over there, and we drove over, met them a couple of times, and then we went to a little place here in the Knoxville area that it's the ancient Lord Village, and it's kind of like a little Hobbiton. And we went through some axes and just hung out and had a great time.
Well, I didn't know you lived in Tennessee because I live in Tennessee.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, I live on the other side of the state. I live about an hour and a half due west of Nashville. So I live in a little county called Houston County. It's south of Montgomery County, Clarksville area. So
I have unfortunately driven past there many a times en route to Memphis.
yeah.
We've all driven past on the way
Well,
to
I saw Hannah's sweatshirt that had Tennessee Vols on it, and I thought, oh, I wonder if she's living in, but I did not know that you all lived in Tennessee. So that's fantastic to know.
Yeah, moved to Knoxville. I moved down here around, let's see, 21 years ago. We moved down here to this area, right? Not too long after Hannah was born. She was born up in the Tri-City area, up in Johnson City. And then we moved down here. Yeah. And been here ever since. It's a nice halfway point between my parents and Marina's folks.
Very good. Yeah. As you know, we are all genealogists. And so I've been a professional genealogist with expertise in Tennessee records for the last 19 years. So I know exactly where you're talking about. And Gatlinburg is one of those places my husband would love to go for 3-day weekends.
It's a great place. It's a
is.
wonderful area being up here in the foot of the mountains. And
that's right.
You know, we plan to try and get together. We're trying to get together around Christmas time back up in St. Louis. My family still travels back up. Mom and Dad, we all travel back up to St. Louis for Christmas. They travel up every year, and we're trying to get back up there with them to visit our family up there and bring my biological family and my family together so everyone can meet, because we all freaking live in this. They all live in the same area. It's amazing.
I think I loved when you were saying to Ladybug, to Pat, I loved when you were saying to her, I vacationed here.
Yeah.
I always felt so comfortable here. And she was saying the same kind of things, you know, that she had thought about you. And I know that feeling just with my ancestors. I've got a couple of counties that so many of my ancestors lived in, that every time literally that I drive through that county, it's like you can feel that. And so I think that, you know, you were feeling that she was there. And I think that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, we had moved, Mom and Dad had moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky with Corvette plant back in the late 70s, early 80s. And so that's pulled us out of St. Louis and put us down in the South. And then I always spent, growing up as a kid, summers with both sets of grandparents back up there with my grandma Bradley and then my mama and papa Wright. And so, I mean, I was running around that entire area for 18 years as just a little kid, just with my papa and my grandmas. And so, I mean, all the little towns that we were visiting in that little area, I knew them. I'd been there on many occasions. And in fact, when we did the gear challenge there in Deloge, one of my cousins on Facebook, when she saw the picture, she was like, you were 4 blocks from my house, Scott Andrew. Why didn't you stop by and see us?
So that was on the clock.
I could hear Mary's voice in my head now. I'm like, you know, we could. It was all Tanya's fault. We weren't allowed to go.
That's too funny. Oh, that's too funny.
Did you, knowing where you were born, did you know that's where you were going to go? I mean, this area that you'd grown up in, or was it a surprise?
I had a suspicion, because it's like, you know, we always joke that, you know, Mom and Dad got out of St. Louis. It seems like everybody in St. Louis, when you're born there, you just kind of stay there. You know, you can go on the map right now, put a pin, and go out about 4 or 5 miles from that pin on Telegraph Road, draw a circle, And, mom and dad, about 90% of the families inside that circle. And then the rest are just a few miles outside of the circle. They don't get very far from that area. And then, so, being in that whole down the country in South County and running around St. Louis and even up there in O'Fallon, my Uncle Nick and Aunt Marilyn had lived in O'Fallon for years. And so we went to Christmases up there on several times. So that's why when Hannah was like, "This looks familiar," I'm like, "Stop it, stop it." Black team has advantage. We're gonna get one. We're gonna get our advantage.
Oh, so funny. How did the car ride go? I mean, we only saw, little snippets. What kind of snacks did you guys eat? How did you keep yourselves entertained? But you guys I don't think anybody really had very long drives this season. It seemed like they were, well, of course, Team Black, half hour down the road, go around the corner and meet your relative, So at the beginning, they didn't have to go very far, but just fun. What were some of the fun memories of the car?
The funniest thing was as we were leaving Asheville, North Carolina, and heading to St. Louis. When we got the envelope and opened it up, and we saw St. Louis, I kind of figured that's where we were headed. And as we were driving through Knoxville, Hannah at one point looked over and was like, "We're only a mile and a half from my apartment." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." She's like, "This is like adding insult to injury." She's like, "We drove all the way there just to come back here." It's like, "Yeah, I know. Little do we know that Black team was going home." So,
just around the corner down the block.
But we spent most of the time just talking. We were just talking about stuff, just all the things that she was dealing with. Just moving up and launching, just the things we were talking about, stories about the family, things that Mim and Pop had done growing up, things that they had done with me, the trips we had taken back to St. Louis, talked about Mama, Papa Wright and Grandma Bradley, and just the family that's up there. And because that's who we know and that's where we're going, and we were just kind of like, wow, we're going to be like right there where everybody is. Then we can't say hi.
I love that you were sharing family stories with her.
Yeah,
that's wonderful, because so many times family stories don't get shared. So we talk about that a lot. So good on you that you were sharing those family stories. Laura, did you have something you wanted to?
Yes, I would like to know, Scott, what did y'all do to prepare yourselves when you found out you were, it was definitely going to go? Did you study maps? Did you practice navigation? Did you practice archery? What did you do?
Okay, so first off, I had navigated with paper maps most of my entire adult career because I was in outside sales. So I was really used to using the Rand McNally, really super cool maps. I even have my own atlas. And I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna bring my atlas." And they're like, "No, you can't bring your own atlas." I'm like, "Crap." Then they give us these paper maps from AAA that aren't worth a darn. I mean, it's like black line through the middle of the state. It's a road. I get that. What's the number? What's the name? Where's it going? No cross streets, no intersections.
Really? So you guys so you don't have like a legit map with?
It's the AAA map. I mean, I'm more used to the Rand McNally super awesome, very detailed maps with first, second, third level worth of streets. So you can, if you got to get somewhere and, there's an extra side street right through here, not the, the one main road in the state. It's like, oh, wow, Missouri has 3 roads. Really?
Well, were you surprised? Every season we're so surprised by when you stop and ask anybody for directions.
That's what I was going to say.
Nobody knows where they are or where anything is.
It's because we're all using a GPS and we just don't.
Is that what it is? I've been trying to figure out, why does nobody know where anything is?
I'm not allowed to say that one, are we? I mean,
family show.
That's not PG, let me tell you right now. The only thing that kept kind of rolling through my mind every time we'd ask someone directions is that shot from The Simpsons when Homer's like, "I didn't know where I was going, but I gave that guy directions anyway." I mean, seriously.
Which team was it that got wrong directions from someone? Was that
It was
Everybody
Alex.
did. I can tell you that. I'm
Everybody at
sure of
some
it.
point.
Well, I know, but one of them was on camera and they talked about
Yeah,
it.
it was Team Red, I believe. It
Team
was
Red,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the limousine driver.
Yes,
Yeah.
the limousine driver.
Wrong direction.
I mean,
But I
people
did-
have even asked policemen. They've
Yeah.
asked delivery people. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, how do you get where you're going if you don't know?
GPS.
I
Yes.
have an
But don't they
idea.
look
We've
at
all
the
lost our
roads?
brains. We've all lost our brains, and we're
No,
getting
I
to
don't
the
think it
places.
is that.
You
I
don't? What do you
think
think, Laura?
I think when you grow up in a place, you start, like when I learned to drive
Wow.
in Spartanburg, I knew to get from home to church, I went down the road where Hardee's
Yeah.
was. I turned
Yeah,
left
yeah.
at the railroad track.
Yeah.
I went under the bridge.
Exactly.
Then I went left again, and then I
Yep,
went up
yep.
the hill and back down. I didn't know the names of those
Yeah,
streets.
I hear you.
Where the store used to be.
Yeah.
Now you go
We-
down the road a piece, down to
Yeah.
where Joe used to live. Now you know it was Joe's house because there used to be a blue pickup truck in the driveway, but it ain't there no more. And go past
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
Where the tree used to be, that
Yep.
keep on going, and that's where the church burnt down. And then, yeah, I've lived in
Yeah.
the South long enough. I know
Yep.
that I recognize those directions, and I
Yep.
run like heck.
You should read our deeds. Because our deeds say starting at the oak tree, going to the rock, and yeah.
Well, Hannah actually made a great observation. And one of the things that she didn't realize was as you go further west, the rectangular survey system came into place. And so all the
Yeah.
streets are a grid system.
Yeah.
So down here, she's used to following the holler out past the mountain ridge, over around the bend of the lake, and then go to the bridge. And then that's where there's going to be a road. Not
Mhm.
that there's a road every so many feet.
Yes.
And so she was
Yep.
actually looking at the topography of the land and thinking, why is there a road here? They had to cut through a mountain. You know, this doesn't make sense. But that's because the rectangular survey system made everything in a grid.
Exactly.
Whereas here in this part of the state, it is just, it looks like a bowl of spaghetti.
Yes.
That's perfect. Thank you for that explanation. Did you?
Well, she said it actually made navigating for her harder in that area out west because she wasn't used to it. She'd never really navigated in a grid-based system.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Well, you guys did really well with your little flip phones, texting and all that kind of stuff, but you didn't have to you had better cameras this year. You didn't have the flip phone with the camera and all that kind of stuff. The little
Yeah.
Is that your phone?
Oh, that one was mine. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, when Dan gave you guys all those phones, everybody went, "What? A real phone?" I knew it couldn't have been. I knew he was lying because he did that. He
Nope.
did
Real
that.
phones.
That
Yeah.
was what we were given, but they were disabled with no
Yeah.
functionality for internet, no
Yeah.
functionality for anything other than calling, texting, and the camera.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So you're the first season that actually got a step up. It wasn't
Yeah.
a flip phone.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you guys, right. Absolutely. When you were sitting there at the results, that must have been so hard because all of you knew somebody was going home and nobody wants to go home and you start bonding too. I mean, yeah, you'd rather it be somebody else than you. I mean, I understand that, but it's, you know, everybody, you know, when they got to the end and y'all had gotten that third strike, everybody was kind of visibly, we're going to miss you. You know, we've loved running this race. We were hoping they would give a surprise season 10 golden ticket and let you go. That's what we were hoping.
It was a mixture of two things, believe it or not. There wasn't disappointment. It was more like, okay, what I had thought was going to happen happened because of just with the timing and then our photo not winning. I kind of realized once they showed Curtis and Sean's photo, I was like, yeah, that pretty much well does it. That's confirmation that, you know, we're heading home. And then there was really kind of a bit of a relief for myself. It was kind of like, I'm pretty excited because I missed Marina. I wanted to get home to my wife.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. Yeah. Oh, I love that. But I know it's got to be one of those things that you're just like, oh, we're done. All that rushing, all that, you know, trying to get up, hurry the next morning. And then all of a sudden it just comes to a standstill. And yeah,
Well,
we were all
from 7
hoping
a.m.
for
to, yeah, from 7 a.m. to 10
Yeah.
p.m. every day,
every day.
you are mic'd, wired, and being recorded.
Yep.
And so it's like, yeah, let's take someone with paranoid delusions and let's actually record them and put them on video all day long. Yeah, I mean, that's a great success. But it was kind of a relief to like, okay, I can pee and the world not hear me now. This is going to be awesome.
I love it.
Like,
I love it.
Sorry, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
That was our sound guy.
Yeah. And I know that if you'd gone over the speed limit and stuff like that, they tell you to calm it down too, and they come over the system.
It doesn't go over well with somebody with a lead foot. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I would have a really hard time with that too. I'd have a really.
Yeah, that's why it was tough for me sitting next to Hannah.
Yeah.
When she was
Too funny. Well, I know that, I mean, you were so eloquent when you expressed your gratefulness for this journey and what it meant to you and what it means to Hannah and your son and your wife and the rest of your family, and that closure that comes with finding these things out. So we are thrilled for you that you were on this season and that you were able to meet the people that you were able to meet. And I, like the rest of the panel, loved the fact that your parents got to call you, and we're part of that. So that's something is dear to me, and I always tell me it's because I've got adopted children. I've got biological and adopted children, and so I love it when the show brings out the fact that these contestants, for the most part, are not doing this because they're trying to run away from their family, and try to find a new family. It's because of the support from, in most cases, the support from their adoptive family, their family, that they got to do this and expand their family. They're not trying to replace, but they're trying to expand. And it's just beautiful. And I'm grateful for relative race. And we've talked about this the last few seasons, that they brought that into play. Because the first few, you never heard anything really about the family. You just heard that they were looking for biological family. And so you never heard that. And they've been doing better at that. And I know I've thanked them a couple of times for that, because I think it's an important part of your stories. It's very important part of your stories. And so I'm grateful that they're doing that. So, and we're grateful that you have joined us tonight. Is there any questions anybody still wanted to ask? Well, we still have Scott here. Scott, is there anything that you wished we would have asked you that we didn't? Is there a story or something that you want to share that maybe give us a scoop, maybe that didn't get on camera? Is there something you wish would have been, that was filmed, that they didn't show?
So one of the things that when Ladybug introduced herself and she said, "I'm your biological mom," she told the producers that she didn't feel she could use the term mom because that's a badge that is earned by the woman who raised the child. I didn't know that at the time. On the flip side of the coin, I told the producers I wasn't going to use the term adoptive parents. It's my mom and dad.
Right.
And I'm
grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Because it was, I mean, my mom is the one who told me the Superman story, which is an adoption story, as I was growing up as a child.
Yes.
That's why we had the little Superman figure.
Yes.
You know, my mom is the one, my mom and dad, they told me about the day that they went to the hospital and that they picked me. And they had told me that since the day since as long as I can remember, that all the kids in all the world that they could choose, they chose me. So that was how I grew up. That was the unconditional love that I was given and the environment that I grew up in. And, you know, to the fact that Ladybug understood that, and that my mom and dad understand that. I mean, just all of my family is just salt of the earth, just fantastic people. And I am so blessed. And I'm excited for the day that they all get to meet in person. They've been chatting a bunch, back and
good.
forth with each other.
Good.
Mom and Ladybug have been sitting there talking back. I can only imagine some of the stories that they're sharing right now.
I love it. That's beautiful because it doesn't always happen. And so you are very blessed that things have come together the way that they have in a positive, very positive, beautiful, loving way. So we are so grateful to have you on tonight. We're so grateful to hear some of your experiences, and we just wish you all the luck in the world as you move forward and build on these relationships and just continue growing. And so just thank you so much. We just really appreciate it because we, kind of sometimes you feel like a voyeur, watching other people's lives, but Relative Race does such a good job of doing this so that everybody feels comfortable, whether things are a little rocky or wonderfully beautiful like your story is. And so we just appreciate you being here, and you're welcome to come on GenFriends with us anytime. So we hope to get you back with all the rest of the teams once the season's over. So that would be really fun to have a team reunion. So we're hoping that maybe we will be able to do that. So if there's not any other questions or comments or anything else, I guess we will say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'd love to hear from you. If you've got some questions, put them in the comments, and don't forget, as Dan reminded you last time when I went mute, don't forget to click like and subscribe to the channel. And with that, we'll see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.